This is what we say. And at home and personally and in an every individual life, mother plays an important role. Like I started with, wife plays an important role, daughter plays an important role, sister plays an important role. All these, yes, important role, important role, important role. Important role is one, value assigned is another. How much of dignity, how much of value, how much of respect is being assigned to her? It is very naturally thrust upon a woman that she has to play up multiple roles. Notice your wives, notice your daughters, married daughters, notice your mothers, notice your sisters early in the morning around 7 o'clock, especially those who are employed women. Look at the 100 hands they have at the same time. Shakti Rupena Samstita. She is like a Shakti. Early morning, she is doing multiple things at a time. Let her come to the office. She is handling so many things at a time. She's also thinking about her family. She's also thinking about her children. She's also thinking about her what to do in the evening, what to do tomorrow morning. With respect to the household chores, there is a compartment always, there is a folder always which is minimized and will be open any time that she finds a small, tiny moment to think about it. As she is eating her lunch, she is also performing something else. She may be talking to her husband on phone, or she may be talking to her mother or father who is sick on phone, or she may be taking care of family chores around that time. When everyone is watching TV, she is busy preparing for tomorrow. Multiple roles. Great. She's capable, hence she can do. But what is the kind of stress that she is being subjected to in this process? You can do everything, you can do everything. She's a superwoman who can do everything. But is she being respected as a superwoman? Is she being valued as a superwoman? So multiple roles, yes, capabilities are high. But how much of stress the multiple roles are giving to her? The tightrope walk, especially in the employed women, that they are doing between the work and family, the work-life balancing act that they are doing. And everywhere she tries to, unfortunately or fortunately for a woman, she thinks she has to do 100% justice. Even a tiny small mistake from her or a lapse from her, she feels guilty again. That so-called sensitivity that we women boast about. We women are more sensitive, we boast. But at the same time, that which leads to self-blame, guilt feeling, and in spite of the quality of time that we are providing, the kind of blame that we carry, we mothers carry, we are not able to give time, we are not able to give time, we are not able to give, we are not able to give time to the husband, we are not able to give time to the children, we are not able to give time to the parents and parents-in-law. We are not able to give time, we are not able to give time. It is like, you are one single person who has to give time to everybody. But what about you? What is it that she gets in return? Who is giving time for her? And what about these multiple roles in the process of justifying these multiple roles? What about her energy, depleting energy? Gender discrimination. You're a woman, you're supposed to do it. Every mother tells her daughter, even today, let me tell you, even as a modern day lady, all of us, I'm sure, will agree to this. If we say, even today, we tell our daughters, in spite of being so and so, you still have to take care of your own cooking and your house. We are preparing them. Aadapilla antam kada, puttin దగ్గర నుంచి we are preparing them for a role there, out there. Gender discrimination. This gender discrimination is something which is thoroughly ingrained. How much ever we talk today in terms of this gender sensitivity and need for creating an awareness and education with relation to gender sensitivity and equalization and equity, still there exists gender discrimination. However, I won't say the picture is so dark. I would rather say there is an improvement. It needs more improvement. Now, this is a psychological aspect. Now, what about other social factors? Poverty, hunger, malnutrition, overwork, domestic violence, sexual abuse combine to account for women's poor mental health. Several factors, multifactorial. Positive relationship between the frequency and severity of such social factors and the frequency and severity of mental health problems in women is very clearly seen. Severe life events, which may cause a sense of loss, inferiority, humiliation, or entrapment, can predict depression. I had a case. I mean, I had a lady who sought counseling from me. She underwent an abortion. In the third month of pregnancy, she lost the child. She had to undergo termination. She underwent an abortion. So, in this process, it is both she and her husband who share the child. It is their child, right? But this lady was constantly blaming herself. If only I had been more careful. If only I had been more careful. The way she took the self blame on herself was surprising, and really, I mean, as a psychologist, I have to empathize and not sympathize. But as a human, yes, you feel sorry for that lady. Husband was fine. He says, Madam, we have to. I mean, fine in the sense he was realistic. If I have to use a humanitarian term, he was realistic. He said, Madam, she's young. We are young. We can have one more child. We have to divert ourselves, and I divert myself. And I don't remember all these things once I go into the work. She's also a working lady. She was also an employed lady. But why she is suffering? That life event, the way it created the stress in that lady and created a post traumatic stress in that lady. It was a trauma for her. It was a major event for both, but it was a trauma for her. Wasn't it a trauma for him? It was a trauma for him, perhaps, but the way he responded to that and the way she responded to that were totally different. Severe life events for her, all these that I'm telling you: loss, self blame, inferiority, humiliation, entrapment. And when somebody in the family says, you lost the child, it would have been a boy. So what if it is a boy or a girl? A child is a child. And she lost the child. Now, all these cumulatively put her into a vulnerability, more and more vulnerability, and an entrapment which can predict depression. Now, yet another one. I talked a little while ago about sexual violence, domestic violence, alcoholism, substance abuse. And when I'm saying substance abuse, I'm not talking about women who are using substances. I'm talking about women suffering because of the male substance abuse. It can be a father, it can be a brother, it can be the husband. Every third household in the lower socioeconomic strata, you ask any lady, she will talk about husband coming and beating her after being drunk. A drunken husband, an alcoholic husband coming home and beating. And interestingly, in all these households, in most of these households that you talk to these women with, it is the woman who earns more. She is the one who slogs the entire day and comes back home equally tired. But then when he comes back home in the evening, mard hai na, mard hai na. He is tired, so he has some drink. Men no, so they have a drink. What is wrong? So they are tired, so they are entitled to drink. And once they are entitled to drink, after that, what they do is a different matter altogether. And it is the woman who slogs the whole day, who suffers the whole day, comes back home, cooks for the family, takes care of the children, and gets beaten up by the husband and has to bow her head before the demands of the husband. And she has to give away all the money, every rupee that she earns to the husband. Cruelty by husband or relative against. This is 2005 statistics I'm presenting you. Only this I couldn't get the latest statistics. It is said, double you. Oh man, that is a woman. Please break it and read it. Double you. Oh man, that is a woman. She is double you, oh man, in many things. Double the energy, double the capacity, capability, double the sahanam, shantam, orpu, all these big, good words that we talk about. The patience, the love, the compassion, whatnot. In everything, she is double. However, the value, the dignity, that she is bound to get, that she deserves to get, does she get? Multiple roles of women are not at all uncommon. Wife, mother, career woman. Career need not just mean an educated lady going in a car or on a two-wheeler. No, not necessarily. Anything is a career. However, when she plays these multiple roles as a wife, as a mother, as a career woman, wherever she is, there are pressures. Why pressures? Gender discrimination, poverty, hunger, malnutrition, overwork, sexual, domestic violence, workplace problems. What does that lead to? Psychological distress, anxiety, guilt that she is not able to give the best either to the workplace, work role, or to the personal role. Conflicting demands. At the same time, there are demands from the family. There are demands. You're going to have relatives at home. Can't you at least take a leave? And there in the office or there in the workplace, you need to be present. Can't you take a leave? Is it so difficult for you to take a leave? Maybe a question that she may get. Conflicting demands. Children may have exams. Children have exams, and you being a mother not available. Someone may say, but someone may not say. She herself may feel the guilt. I said self blame. Depression. All in all these pressures cause such risk factors, become such risk factors to her that they decrease the psychological resistance that she has to disease and pushes them into acute and chronic health conditions. Again, prevalence rates of depression and anxiety as well as psychological distress is higher for women. I'm citing certain study research findings. Being an academician, I do just as I have done in the beginning, I'm presenting before you several studies from decades, consistent across a range of studies across different countries. Depression, anxiety, psychological distress, they're more likely to receive a diagnosis of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, somatization disorders, panic disorders, all these disorders which need therapy for enough time. And post delivery, till she delivers the first baby, she's taken care of as though she's a Devi. Once the delivery happens, from then on, she is expected to become a superhuman. She cannot eat. While she is eating, if the child cries, what are you doing? Why are you eating for such a long time? How can you sleep? Your child is crying. How can you talk to somebody else? Your child requires your presence. It's like, 85% of the women experience some type of mood disturbance owing to psychosocial conditions in addition to the biological factors at that point in time. Depression and menopause may go together because of hormonal fluctuations, but is that the only thing? Across the ages, I have already talked about young women. What about the older women? What about the seniors? As you move towards the senior citizenship, your children, very recently I read one article. You send your student, you send your children, you encourage them, you send them here and there. You say, beta, in this village you cannot flourish. You go to a city. When you are in a city, beta, you cannot flourish in this city. You go to a bigger city. If you are in a bigger city, you say, beta, you cannot flourish in this country. Go to a bigger country. Go to a bigger country in the sense bigger money country. And once they go there, they cannot come back. Once they have established their career, they have to take care of their life as well. And here you are with an empty nest. And you are always worried if they come, they have to spend a lot of money. If you go, again, they have to spend a lot of money. You're only worried about their inconvenience. You don't have money. You need their money. And you don't want them to spend money on you. You feel guilty. Emptiness syndrome. In addition to that, I have already talked about anxiety disorders, panic, OCD, and of course, not only in our country, but other countries also, eating disorders are seen, anorexia and bulimia. And depression is supposed to be 2:1 as compared to men. And women are supposed to be more likely than men to engage in non-fatal suicidal behavior, and though not using a lethal method, this deliberate self-harm behavior. So that's why they say, while women attempt suicide more, and the saying which goes in that pattern. However, suicidal thoughts themselves indicate the risk of depression. That itself indicates the depressive thinking. So the very fact that a woman feels more suicidal itself indicates the psychosocial factors which might be contributing to that, in addition to whatever the biological factors are. Now, coming to the senior citizenship, this is one area which is underexplored. Elder abuse, emptiness syndrome, abandonment of the elders, all these are more and more heard today. And I have done one study in the geriatric health with reference to women. One of my projects has been on that. Anyway, while it is true that women face more problems than men, my study results also have shown that women face more problems, a lot of problems compared to men, which men may not actually understand when compared to women. A study on dementia in urban Mumbai population showed that Alzheimer's disease was most common, followed by vascular dementia in senior citizens. When it comes to elderly health, or elderly rural population of West Bengal, 61% are elderly were supposed to have psychiatric illnesses, with females having significantly higher rate than males. So, all said and done, even when we say discrimination, irrespective of the age, whether it is a young child, whether it is an adolescent, whether it is youth, whether it is a middle-aged adult or middle-aged or senior citizens, still it does exist. Most of the summer societies we know are patriarchal. We cannot deny that. Girls are born to be fed throughout their lives. Boys are born to earn and support the whole family. Sometimes we also sympathize with these boys because this idiom which makes them suffocate. You are a boy, you have to be brave, you cannot shed tears, you cannot be sensitive, you cannot think about others in a very nurturant way. Are you a girl? Are you a girl? Are you a girl? Even they suffer in their own way. Boys suffer in their own way. So they are made to socialize to, socially they are made to, they are conditioned to behave in a particular way, that you are born to earn. You are supreme. Now, born to earn and support the whole family, slowly what happens? The responsibility factor takes a sideline and the power factor becomes more important. You are a boy, you are a boy, you are a boy. And you are a boy, and hence you are more powerful. You are more responsible is not the problem over there. It is not highlighted over there. Or you are as responsible is not highlighted over there. You are more powerful becomes most important. This is reflected in the discriminatory behavior. So, womb to tomb, violence and danger, women suffer. Womb to tomb. From the moment she is conceived, the child is conceived, till the moment she dies. As I said in the earlier slides, violence and danger do not have any age discrimination. Prenatal, infancy, childhood. See the infanticide, female infanticide, feticide, emotional, sexual, physical abuse. Even a child cannot escape that. Differential access to food and medical care. Boy hai na, let us give a little more to him. His needs are more. And medical care. Girl hai na, she can tolerate. Woman naturally tolerates. Girl is more resilient. Child marriages, child prostitution, pornography. In majority of these, it is the girl. Adolescence, violent behind the masks of love, courtship, dating. Today, it's become more rampant. The more educated we are, the more we are able to see adolescent problems, especially when it comes to girls. All said and done, irrespective of the time and period that we live historically, whenever there is a relationship between a boy and a girl, which may take a different turn, it is the girl who suffers. Economically coerced sex, abuse, incest, trafficking, harassment. Then coming to the adulthood, youth and adulthood, abuse by the partner, dowry, harassment. Look at the issues affecting the mental health of women and the girls. At an individual level, at a system-based level, at an environmental level. There may be some protective factors as well. So at an individual level, we have to look at biological and developmental factors, specific mental disorders, and at an environmental level, the social stress factors and stigma and the trauma, violence and abuse. And when it comes to system-based, we have to look at health systems issues, treatment access and insurance, identification and intervention issues. All these become Very important. However, a woman has to be given necessary protection and opportunities to develop the resilience. So several health system issues are there. Inclusion of women in clinical trials and effectiveness of drugs, inadequate emphasis on mental health issues, side effects of so several, premenopausal, postmenopausal, family planning, everywhere. And when it comes to treatment access, especially for those during Corona, there were certain cases where some of our students went forward and they helped these older women in villages because there was nobody. The son and that lady who spoke to me on phone was so kind towards her son. She said, Amma, my son cannot come all the way from that city. I am held up in this village. He is held up somewhere. He cannot come. No, what can he do? He cannot take her because he never took her because her daughter-in-law was not accepting her. Her son's family was not accepting her. Once in a month he would come, the son would come, give her some whatever daily necessities are, take care of them and go away, and medicines and go away. Now thanks to Corona he was not able to come, and she was so kind towards him. Then these the neighbors used to ask, why doesn't he never even she doesn't have a smartphone. She has that ordinary phone with a small numbers, that too with the help of someone she can talk. Once in a while he would talk. So this student who was helping her went ahead, used her smartphone to make a video call to that son. She made a video call to that son. He didn't make a video call, neither to the neighbors nor to the well-wishers around her house. She was alone at home. This girl made the video call, and this lady was so happy looking at him and her grandchildren and her daughter-in-law, and all the neighbors came forward to help her. From then on, once this girl tried to coordinate with things, neighbors came forward to help that lady since she was alone. Otherwise, everyone was locked in their own houses. Obviously, at that point in time, all of us were in the same condition. So, access to treatment, access to healthcare was also not there during that time. So even otherwise, with or without Corona, someone is there away, very far away from the mother who is alone or father who is alone. Who takes care? Who takes them to unless there are good Samaritans around? Villages, at least situations are better. What about cities? Villages, at least still that collectivity is there. But what about cities? So, lack of parity of mental health care coverage, primary care providers, mental health specialists, better access to treatments for adolescent depression, all these we don't see even today. So, we need to identify what are the interventional issues. We need to look at the empowerment of women, self determination, and choice in mental health treatment. So, this self blame, guilt, all these that we are talking about, when will they be rid of this? When someone talks to them, creates an awareness as to what is the limit of their capability, what is the extent that they can contribute, and where there is a boundary for that. Empowerment, self determination, choice in mental health treatment, all this access is not provided to many. Community care, social support, being able to bring about the social support from the neighboring groups or the peer age groups, preventive interventions. And for example, for depression and anxiety, by having some social activities, depression and anxiety which go undiagnosed, the need for screening for depression, all these can be taken care of in terms of primary care centers, schools, and other settings. This is at a systemic level. Nationwide programs for suicide prevention and older adults, taking care of female older adults. We have made some recommendations in our project related to how older adults can be taken care of. Complementary and alternative medicine in relation to self treatment. So coping skills is something where we psychologists come into the picture, how they can use their own capabilities and abilities and the internal strengths to deal with the stress and emotional issues rather than being a victim of the stress and emotional issue. How they can restructure their thoughts and contribute to a better mood is where we psychologists come into picture. Enhancing resilience factors such as active coping and assertiveness in girls, where they can say no, where they can say yes, where they have to stop others from exploiting them, and how they can They can build their strength in such a way that they don't fall a prey or a victim to those who are trying to use them, exploit them, and to prevent emotional problems. Lack of knowledge about mental health can be dealt with by awareness programs, time to time awareness programs, indicating to them and educating them, psychoeducating them about the signs and symptoms, and relation of physical activity to depression or anxiety treatment, mentoring, positive role modeling. So make them understand the neurological sex differences, and then even with reference to the treatment response, how sex differences may be there, and how in adolescence also, based upon the gender difference, how we can help them. When it comes to trauma, violence, and abuse, we should understand how this effects of early trauma, be it abuse, neglect, or loss of parent or partner, may have on the development of depression and anxiety. So, considering all these, understanding that domestic violence, emotional abuse, all these can happen anytime. And please also remember that even at a school level, in spite of sending them to a good school or whatsoever, bullying, teasing, and sexual harassment, we have to pay attention to that. So, at an individual level, at a systemic level, at a micro as well as macro level, this has to be taken care of. And unfortunately, the stigma continues related to mental health and mental illnesses. So I think in order to overcome this stigma, what we have to do as educated people, as educated adults, is to make people understand the irrationality and with reference to the stigma as well as the prejudice related to mental illnesses, mental health problems, and then help them deal with them. So, what can we do towards an action plan? Promote the widespread understanding that women's mental health is an essential part of their overall health. Yes, she's a Shakti, she's a Shakti Swarupam, but even the Shakti Swarupam needs to understand that she is herself a Shakti rather than dependent on someone else for Shakti. Improve the interface of primary care and mental health services for women. Accelerate research to increase the knowledge base of the role of gender in mental health and to reduce the burden of mental illnesses. Increase gender and cultural diversity. Then, when it comes to mental health tracking and all, some screening has to be done, as I said, at a micro level, at a macro level, at individual level, at community level, at state level, at national level, and translate the findings into actual practice and address the needs of women. Cultural and social disparities. How are we going to curtail them? Can one person do that? This is where the society has to be educated. That's why I insist again and again upon the awareness programs for the society and the community and the society. On the other hand, each woman has to be helped in building resilience and using her protective factors to promote the mental health. Especially catch them young. Start with the schools. In fact, in one of the CERT and all, I'm a part of their group where we are developing some counseling training programs for the teachers, especially when it comes to the young children. So I think somewhere we have to start in development of these awareness programs and health help programs with relation to the mental health and holistic health. There should be help groups, including teachers, including administrators, including parents. In fact, the entire the stakeholders, they can be a part, and they have time to time they have to conduct programs such that many of these issues that we have discussed so far are addressed. So I think I'll stop over here. These are some of the references that I have used in terms of the studies which I have cited.
Thanks a lot, madam, for giving a beautiful, vividly information with the facts. We are really enjoyed your program. Now we can open for discussion.
Yes,
There are good participants. Those who are having can, ask, questions, or they can interact with the guest speaker.
Yes, madam. I'm Dr. Saujanya, Assistant Director from Regional Center, Hyderabad.
madam.
It just takes back in memory of my little understanding about this gender sensitivity when I was working for my doctoral thesis at the University of Hyderabad. I was just wondering, what could your interpretation be with regard to the Freudian viewpoint? Basically, the male anatomy and the female anatomy, masculinity and femininity, labor, feminization of labor based on the anatomy of the women. That is also popularly known as alpha. Yes, madam, alpha bias and then beta bias. Alpha bias proposes something that the anatomy is the cause for all those things, and the social psychological way that is being structured. But beta bias is something to do with the theories of behavioralism. And this is a constructive of the society. And the structure and the social cultural factors determine what the woman is about. So when I take these two theories of the Freudian viewpoint of law, one is the alpha bias and the beta bias. Alpha bias sees women's structure as a deviation, whereas masculinity as a cherished component. And when we come to the theories of behavioralism, where I also belong to that behavioralism and deconstructive ideas, the femininity thinks to be located in a cognitivism and not in the socio-cultural biased way of seeing things. To be seen this as a humanitarian existentialism. And that is one point that I want to emphasize. And reconstructing the society, restructuring the society, moving away from the Freudian viewpoint. Point number one. Point number two is, what are be the institutional mechanisms to get about into the equal opportunities, whether taking into class and caste configuration of women, this which you have not emphasized, with gender. It is all about the gender determination, that the gender determines things is what you have explained. Even among the gender, which women are we talking about? Which women are we addressing about the issues of? The socially dichotomized women are very, very different. And I think this needs to be incorporated in your discourse. And the narrative that you have told is very interesting. And I think some of the insights you can throw on the Freudian laws, if you have at all addressed and talked about this alpha bias and beta bias. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the insights and your opinions. I see that you have been working extensively in this socio-cultural component with relation to the women and empowerment of women. I agree with you on several. Well, as a psychologist, I would say we have moved long, long ahead from refraining ourselves to a Freudian interpretation of masculinity or femininity. In fact, long, long back, Karen Horney, since you are talking directly in terms of the theoretical framework, I would say Karen Horney long back talked about womb envy as against penis envy. As against penis envy. So I think we have moved a long, long way ahead. So I think sociologically speaking, psychosocially speaking, socio-culturally speaking, there are several factors which we are going to talk about. And when it comes to the employment situation, I still agree with you in terms of certain factors which may be hindering women, the glass ceiling phenomenon, and today we even talk about the glass cliff phenomenon. There are several factors. Now, is it sociologically conditioned, socially conditioned? Behaviorists say yes, they are conditioned. But cognitivists say whatever conditioning you have come across all these years, so long as you can cognitively restructure your schemas, the belief systems that you have built for years and decades together, probably your restructuring will help you. This is where we psychologists come into the picture. When it comes to the social transformation, I believe, as one of the humanistic thinkers like you, I believe every drop will count in making it an ocean. So I think all of us contributing our drops of change to the society will take it a long way in transforming the society. That's why I said at a micro level, at a macro level, within the limited format that I have developed today, which cannot be exhaustive, obviously. Within the 45 minutes to 1 hour that I have presented my presentation, I cannot talk about everything. However, from a psychosocial perspective, I tried to present certain things, and theoretically speaking, we need not limit ourselves to the Oedipal Electra complex determinism of long back what Freud has talked about. Certain theoretical perspectives of Freud may be true, but we can't remain over there. Today, we talk from a multi-model approach, multifactorial approach, and multi-therapeutic approach, eclectic approach, where we use a multi-model therapy as well. So I hope I have addressed your queries.
Thank you very much, madam.
Yes, madam. In
There,
your
there are,
multi-model
Dr.
approach,
Saujanya, just a minute. Dr. Saujanya, just a minute. There are, some more participants raised their hand. Please, they can ask their questions.
Yes, Menaka Kumari. There is a
Please,
hand
madam,
raised.
please. Madam, you can ask question.
No, sir, I have cleared. No
They're
doubt.
cleared.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, even it is really, we enjoyed your lecturing, madam. It was so nice. Even the IGNOU theme for the 2024 is invest in women and accelerate progress. This is the theme IGNOU has declared for 2024. We have covered extensively, even so many, the young women, the old senior citizens details also you have provided. You have given vivid information. Thank you very much. Any more questions from the participants? Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Saujanya, Assistant Region Director, propose vote of thanks.
yes, madam. Thank you. At the very outset, thank you for consenting the invitation and the request. And as you said, it's not just today. Every day is a Women's Day. Every day,
Yes.
only thinking only in the annual once in a year. It does not suffice. As I belong to the deconstructivist theory and partly with the behavioralism, I agree that the gender roles have been culturally prescribed through the prehistoric culture to the most civilized societies. You have given some interesting insights how this kind of Freudian law can be moved to a higher and a better, from an alpha bias to a beta bias, neutralizing that very thinking. That is all which has been structured by the society. For that, there is need for sensitization and need for an education at the at a wider level, at a very wider level, with the proper insight. Your examples have just enlightened me very much about how the role that the gender determinants are playing still, though we are entering into a very civilized society. It is not just the vote of thanks, but I vote for your thoughts also. It is the best portrayal I can of your involvement in seeing some transformation or setting a transformative agenda as a social psychologist. Perhaps you may not know, I know your father very well, Putti Venkateshwara Rao, through Professor
Putturi Venkatesh.
Gopal.
Putturi
And
Venkateshwara.
you might have forgotten, perhaps I was the first one to approach you. And we often visited your place at Tank Bund. So with her Gopal.
I am
And
not able to see your
it looks
face.
like you
I
are
mean, I was,
because I also moved away from that unit of monitoring and appointing. I was the first one to meet you, if you should recall, at the University of Hyderabad. And it was to Professor Gopal I got to know Professor Padmaja was working in the Department of Health and Psychology. It was very great knowing you, and with your metallic voice voice and with full sensitive involvement. You have presented your work, and it's surely not sufficient to present the entire or a very graphic detail. In the short span of time. Still, I congratulate you and wish to be your spectator in the time to come, because in time you're taking me back to my university life where all these discussions were presented at the University of Hyderabad, and we made a very scholastic presentation about the gender determinants in the constructed social society of like India. Thank you very much, madam. I also thank all the participants, and I hope they would have had a good lesson today about to be a very humanistic approach and a very democratic approach, deconstruct the existing theories and come beyond that, because India is a different society. And I wish that not just for today, forever, that we be sensitized on issues of women and gender issues. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you so much for making us pay our kind attention, because your capacities were so high that I could not even blink my eyes for a minute. I heard very diligently. Thank you once again. Thank you once again. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Saujanya. And as a administrative steps, we have local cash committee also at the Regional Center Hyderabad against sexual harassment of women. And Srimati Sri Lata, Assistant Section Officer, is also a committee member on that committee. All are participated, madam, for this program. I think you can see their faces also. And now we will be arranging a local a meeting at regional center level also to appreciate all each individual women's efforts in this office. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. I'll take leave. I'm honored to be with you. And Saujanya, I couldn't see your face, Dr. Saujanya, so I'm not able to recognize. I'm only able to hear your voice. So maybe that's, and also as we get old, our memory traces, right? So I